Here's the updated version of the VEX build that I am currently using in Borderlands 4 that destroys bosses and is amazing for mobbing as well. Let's run through the skill trees first, and it's very similar to the way I set it up in the previous build. And of course we're going for Incarnate as the action skill. We're mainly focusing on the green skill tree, as we are going to be getting Blood is Power eventually, and we want Bloodshot. There are a few things that you can actually switch up, which also work with this build. I will recommend as well. You could put Volatile Essence in, because one of the key weapons, the BOD, we're going to be using with the Torg license part on, it'll benefit from splash damage, the explosions, so you get an extra percentage of damage there from that splash damage, so that's an option for this. There is a way you could actually implement bleed into this build using primarily kinetic weapons, which is what this build does. You could probably swap grave implements for that if you wanted to mess around with something. This is just suggestions, and they do work as well. But starting things off, we have grave sights because we want increased critical hit damage, and of course we're going to increase those max stacks with another skill as well. Bloodletter is really good with this build, and if you go 5 points there, of course gun and skill critical hits have the chance to apply bleed, which will then cause kinetic status effect damage over time for a duration, right? And we do have a patch incoming eventually. When it's addressed, bleed will still be effective. It will still give us that 30% of gun damage per second. Yes, it will stop infinitely stacking, but trust me, the damage will still be there. We got 3 of 5 in target pre-science for the critical hit chance to any part of the enemy. Then we're going to increase our max stacks with grave power, and we're going to go 3 of 3 in there. Again, we're taking Witchy Trigger Finger. This is to make it so that we can keep firing, of course, because when we deal damage with Eldritch Blast, and we're also going to have 3 because of Vibe Check, which grants us 3 Eldritch Blast charges. We're going to have our BOD firing all the time. We're going to be able to reset that ammo, and it's really nice. The stacks of Witchy Trigger Finger also grant us increased gun damage for a duration as well, so just more damage. And then 5 of 5 in Drink Full. We want that fire rate. We want that BOD to be firing real fast, getting all of that ammo off, because it means more damage. We go Mortal Terror because we have a chance to activate kill skills when we're hitting critical hits. This means those kill skills are going to be proccing more frequently. So Phase Pocket, we don't use this. However, I have done some testing, and if you do not have an enhancement with magazine size increase, you can actually put 2 points into Mortal Terror instead, and then put the rest of them in Phase Pocket, because the more ammo you have for the BOD, the better. Now we're going to move over to Grave Vitality, and we do get a +1 from the class mod, but we're going 5 points there. This VEX build actually makes it so that we have increased gun damage depending on how full our health is, and more health and that regeneration means we're going to deal more damage. So as long as we keep our health full, which this build does, more damage. Pairing this with 5 of 5 in Essence Leech, and we get Lifesteal. It's actually doubled when we have the action skill active, and you're going to have your action skill active all the time the way this is set up. Now, the real important part of the build is Bloodshot, and of course, if you are lucky enough to have a class mod that gives you +5, then you get 10 of 5. And what Bloodshot does is when we use a rep kit, the next gunshot that we actually shoot off will become a Bloodshot. We do use snipers for mobbing as well in this build, so if you are going to be using them as well, it just benefits from those greatly, and it converts damage out into the kinetic damage. And then of course you deal bonus damage based on the current health of VEX. 100% of current health, and we are going to be at full health literally majority of the time. Now for probably the most important part of the build, Blood is Power. 3 of 3 points in there. VEX gains bonus kinetic damage with guns based on her current lifesteal when her health is full. 300% of lifesteal. Again, it's very heavily focused on having our health full, and you know, when I talk about the gear in a second, you'll understand why. And when we go into those specializations, we do go into the Here Comes Trouble tree as well, but that is only for enchantment. VEX gains bonus kinetic damage with guns while her action skill is active. That is 37.5% bonus kinetic damage, and we are primarily using kinetic weapons. So we'll talk about the gear next, and some recommendations that I don't have in the current setup, but that you can use, whether it be for mobbing or bossing. A staple sniper rifle that you should be running is the Borstal Ballista. You can get this from the Timekeeper. Very good sniper rifle. This thing hits like a truck when we get the benefit from amp damage and of course bloodshot. Trust me, super badasses, some of the tougher enemies in the game, just one shot. Because we do have the triple bypass and we have amp on it, so we get 200% increased damage in our next shot once we apply the rep kit, and we get free charges as well. It also coincides with a specialization that helps keep us in Incarnate literally all the time too. Special mention to Midnight Defiance, which I believe was a Twitch drop as well. Absolutely amazing Vladoff sniper rifle, obviously dealing kinetic damage. Trust me, use it. Vile enemies, super badass enemies, bossing, it does really well, trust me. Now, I was using a fisheye, which is really good as well, but the stopgap, I'm really enjoying at the moment. So the unique effect of the stopgap is when you fire it, the fire rate eventually decreases down to 20%, but damage increases up to 750%. It does some crazy damage. Once it slows down to that point, you'll see the damage numbers. Then our class mod, which is very important because we do get that +5 in Bloodshot. It is the one shot undead eye class mod, and if you're lucky enough to then roll it with kinetic damage and sniper rifle damage, you're laughing. Now the shield, we don't actually get a shield because what this Timekeeper's new shield does is it makes it so that sacrificing that shield gives us 7,436 maximum health and then regeneration and also damage reduction. So like I mentioned previously, we do more damage the higher our health is, and just having more regeneration and obviously having that reduction in damage taken is massive. Now, the bread and butter of the build, we were very lucky to have this gifted to us because I could not get one to drop for the life of me, and this is a god roll BOD. This weapon drops from Axe Maul. Secondary firing mode is SMG ammo, which is very important as well. It's the best one for DPS. And this is why I referred to the skill tree when I talked about splash damage, and you could throw this on if you wanted to, because of course the Torgue sticky explosions do benefit from that as well. Other BODs will work with this build, it just won't be as effective. So for the firmware, we are going for 3 of 3 in Deadeye for that increased damage for critical hits. We're going to go for high caliber and typically probably want to go for 2 there, just for the 10% increase for gun damage, but we get increased projectile speed. And then trick shot gives us increased reload speed as well. But to be honest, like I said, I wouldn't go for trick shot. It's probably something I need to swap out. Now over to the perks for specializations. Riddle, this gives us more gun damage. So for every stack, which is a maximum stack of 50, you get increased damage, so 50% there. And here is the one I was talking about. So we're going to get a flat increase of 30% to our damage when our health is full. And that is what I was talking about. This is heavily focused on having our health at maximum all the time, and you will, trust me. And we go for in the zone. So when you're aiming down sights, which you are doing quite a lot of the time as well, you can increase your damage and critical hit damage per second, more damage overall. Now another one I put in there was now with caffeine, which is from the Daredevil section, which reduces action skill cooldown whenever a rep kit is activated, and we have 3 charges on our rep kit. So it means that we're able to have Incarnate up all the time because of it. That is pretty much the update. We managed to get the best possible BOD we can get for this build. There are things that you can swap in and out, like I just mentioned. Test it out for yourselves, but this build is pretty much the most fun I've had with VEX. Haven't changed it since I actually got it put together, and I'll probably be moving on to Rafa and then Harlem as well. So this might be one of the last builds you see, but after patch next week, because the update has been moved, you may see a change. We will see. Hopefully we get some buffs to the trouble tree eventually as well, because I haven't really been able to make a build that can boss effectively with trouble. Mobbing, you can get some good setups. You do have to, it's very gear dependent. I hope you enjoyed this. Consider subscribing, consider following my TikTok. All of those will be in the link down below. Give me your thoughts in the comment section as well. I'd love to hear your feedback, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next video, guys.